Today we go on halacha. It's brought the Gabba if parents could go with their children to the mikveh, or brothers, or son-in-law, father-in-law. So it's Gemara in Maseches Pesachim, Daf Nun Aleph. It says like this: Kedetanya, Imakol roichetz odom. You could go to the bed house with everybody. Chutz mi'oviv. Exception to that your father. You cannot go to the bed house, to the mikveh with your father. V'chomiv, your father-in-law. Ubal imoy, the husband of your mother, if it's your stepfather. Ubal achoisai, and your brother-in-law that married your sister. Rabbi Yehuda matir be'oviv. Rabbi Yehuda says you're allowed to go mipnei kvoid oviv, meaning kvoid oviv, meaning sometimes you need to help them over there, so you're allowed to do that. Vuadin lebal imay. Yeah. Then there's another halacha, Talmid lo yirchatzim rabbi. That's a different reason over there, because Mishal Mitzad, you have to have derech eretz for his more moira, for his rebbe. Should not give rabbi tzorich lo mutar. If you need to help him with that, that's allowed. So lichoyer, it says clearly in the Gemara that you're not allowed to go to a bed house, a mikveh, with the father and son, son-in-law and a father-in-law. And there's a Gemara before that also on the same page. The Gemara says, "V'atanya roichten shnei ke'echad, then roichten shnei achim bekovel." It brothers, there was allowed to go together to the mikveh, but in kovel, the name of a city, the minhag not to do that over there. Okay, so the pashas, without getting into the great details of it yet, why today the olam is mekel on it. Also interesting. Okay, so first of all, by the way, it's reverse. Because the poskim, Asfaradim, the Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch don't mention this halacha at all. The only one mentioned this halacha twice at the Ramah in Even Ezer and Yeredeya. In Even Ezer in Simon Chav Gimel in Seif Vav, that says the Ramah. Oid Ostru Bagamora Lirchatzim Oviv V'Ochiv Ubal Imo Ubal Achoisa, all the relatives mentioned. Oh, so the question would be why the olam. We see people, fathers take their kids to the mikveh, people go together to the mikveh, brother-in-law. He says, "V'nagu achshav heter badover." So one heter the Ramah himself brings. Ho'il u'mechatzin ervosim beves hamerchatz lekel lemechash lihirhura. So he talks about, basically the Ramah talks about would be today going to a swimming pool. Swimming pool, you have your swimming suit on. So what the problem going to the merchatz? So Rashi explains over there. Why? What was the original problems? Rashi says, you can remember, this is my father, that's where I came from, that's my origin. It's going to say, that's where my wife came from. Anyway, so all this mitzad hirhura. So the Ramah says, again, the Ramah does not answer the mikveh today, because the mikveh, we don't go with a swimming suit. The Ramah would answer if you're going to a swimming pool, where people swim, or to the beach. Over there, he says it's a heter of them because they're mechusa. But what's going to happen in the mikveh? So it's interesting that the Aruch HaShulchan has another heter he brings. The Aruch HaShulchan in Even Ezer. By the way, the same thing we see in Yeredeya also. The same thing when it talks about over there the halachas of kibud avoem. It's in Yeredeya Simon Reish. Mem base, yeah, over there also in Halacha Tezayin the Ramah brings the same idea, so we don't have to repeat them. Both places mamash identical, the Ramah and the Aruch HaShulchan. So the Aruch HaShulchan he brings a heter like this. Midvor of mashma. That's the from the Ramah. So you hilchen bemerchat u'michnasayim. V'lo chen bizmanenu. Ze bar toseinu. Our time, we go to mikveh, nobody goes with swimming suit in the mikveh. There's a pella al mashu on nizorim, and on nizorim. Afilu bekama me'alom du ma'yareim. You see, Talmidei Chachamim, even people in Shamayim, Talmidei Chachamim, they take their kids with them to the mikveh. Lechem benim aviv lemerchatz v'chen chomev v'bal imoy v'al achoyso v'are isus amufurash b'gemara. That's the Gemara we just mentioned. So how come the olam is mekel on it? Yes, so he says. The Somuroisi, I'm skipping a few lines. The Loima, the Gemara Omr Shlo Irchat Imoem, the Stam Rechitza, Bizmaneyem Hoya Bambatios. When it talks about you're not allowed to go with them, it doesn't mean go to the mikveh when you go to the bathtub together. That's what the Isur was, to the bathtub together. That's more closer over there to each other. That was the chashash, not like Rashi brings. He learns a new pshat. ובזה אוסר שלוש באמבטיה אחד, ובזה יקה הירור. אבל במרחק שלנו, שרק בבית אחד הם, ואין חשש, it's in the same room, it's not חשש, he said. Then he like this, that heter, he says, אבל ראיתי במורדכי שם בשם הרמי רוטנברג, שאולו בדאית ההתר זה, Mordechai, he's not the first one to bring this heter, the Mordechai from the name of Rami Rotenberg, bring this heter, it's not in the same bathtub, it's in the room, he said, ודוחה אויסו מצד הסבורת, אין חילוק בזה. מיהו? האוילם אפשר שסוימכים על זה. Even though the Mordechai himself is rejecting this heter, but he says the oilam probably soimech on this. The omnam, that's even with all this kavschus, he concludes like this. Omram, hayore is dvar Hashem. Yirchak mizeh v'lirchutzim rabu. Oh, that's finished of it. So he recommends that should not be done. But if it's done, that's a kavschus. Then, like I said, the rabbi, it's a different Indian that mikvah deseh v'lirchutzim rabu hamuva gam kan derech eretz. Okay, it's more even than the parents. That's a different, because you have to have more distance from the rabbi than the father and mother. So it's a different halacha b'chalal. It's nothing to do with that Indian of hero. It's not derech eretz. Okay, akoponim. So l'choire, do we have only kav schus al pi halacha? The way it's wrote b'gemara, l'choire, it's like himself recommend not to do that. Still, why people? Let's say somebody knows the halacha, should stop doing it. L'choire, we have another raya from the gemara that that's not a problem. It's not a strong raya. You could argue with this raya, and here is the raya. There's a ma'aseh in the gemara with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai with his meeting his father-in-law Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. Two girsos over there. It was his son-in-law Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair of Rashbi or his father-in-law. Either way, it's stated father son-in-law over there. The gemara bring in Daf Lamed Gimel Beis and Shabbos. The gemara says over there that Shomar Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. Chasnei, again, there's a girsa chasnei or choisnei. It was a father-in-law, son-in-law. He took him to the bathhouse. He took Rav Shimon Bar Yochai after so many years being in the cave. Took him, he needs to take a good bath. He was helping him to some parts of the body need somebody to soap you and to help you. He saw over there the holes. Anyway, without getting into this Gemara, you see clearly as over there what the Gemara in Pesachim says the father and the son-in-law should not go to the mikveh together. Rav Pinchas ben Yair went with Rashbi. How did they do it? How did they do it? Oh, you could say, like the Ramos says, that they went, like the Ramos said, there was this manoi, they used to go, the covered, it's like they're going to the swimming pool. Okay, even the lashon of the Ramo, his lashon is v'nagu achshav b'mashma b'zmanayim of the Gemara. They didn't go like we're going to the swimming pool. So l'choira, it's a strong rai. If they did it, so also. So that's one heter. That's why, by the way, the only one bring this la'alocha is the Ramah from the major poskim. Like I said, the Mechaber, the Rambam, they don't mention this b'chalal. Possibly.
It's a special case.
What's the special case?
You didn't fit with.
Okay, so if it's not appropriate to do this, it would do something inappropriate. But Shabik Tzadikim, Rav Pinchas ben Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. Again, you could argue, you could say that they were also maybe were covered, but it's not mashmal. Banya, people go to the best Americans. Okay, anyway, so that's one. Like I said, you could argue with this. Also, we could say b'derech efsher. If you look in the Gemara and Pesachim, like I said, the Gemara before that, the Gemara brings over there in Yoni Mokem Shenohagu, different minogim, different places. Possibly this whole thing was mitzad haminag. That was Memele, where the place was a minhag, they were makbid. That's why the Gemara says the two brothers, when Rashi brings over there for a different reason, but the Chayre could say the whole Gemara over there talking mitzad inyan and minhag amokim. And since today we don't have that minhag akpeida, Memele, the Isur mitzad minhag. If it's a minhag amokim, you have to follow. Since there's no such a minhag today, the Chayre is another heter. Again, so shuv, the way the Aruch HaShulchan says, Ayora is dvar Hashem better not to do it, the Oilam do it, and that's the tailing we have. Okay.